Hi, my name is Kathy McCovey. I'm a member of the Karuk Tribe of California. I was born and raised in AKIMT. I worked for the Forest Service as a firefighter, a forester, and an archaeologist. My last part of my career was as an archaeologist, anthropologist. I'm retired. I worked for the Forest Service for 40 years, and now I'm working AD on the McCash fire as a cultural resource specialist. I'm fourth generation Forest Service. This is a rural area. My great-grandfather married my great-grandmother. He was a forester. My grandfather was a forester. He was sent down to Sherman Indian Institute. He picked up his skill of surveying, moved back up to their villages in Sept. Then they moved up to Happy Camp, where my grandfather got a permanent Forest Service job as a check scaler down at the mill. My uncle worked in the Mendocino National Forest as an engineer, and we've always been involved in firefighting. So they were so proud of me. They're gone now, but they were so proud of me, following in their footsteps, being a firefighter, a forester. I started out on the fire engine, and we were the hotshot crew in the late 70s and early 80s. I worked for Timber Prep in the 80s, and if we had a fire, all of us forest, technicians and foresters would jump in crummies and head up to the fire and start digging fire line. So I've been involved in it my whole career. We use fire to manipulate the vegetation to provide the resources that we want in the quality and quantity that we need. The tribes, especially the Karuk tribe, and Happy Camp used to be a village. What we did was we burned in a 2-mile donut around the village site. That was burnt by the women for a fine grain mosaic, edible medicinal plants, basketry material, and oak woodlands grassland. You can still see the footprint here. Beyond that was another 2-mile donut that was burnt by the men for a coarse grain mosaic, and that was for the deer browse and the ability to hunt in underneath the canopy. And so you're 4 miles out from the village. And beyond that was a combination of Native American burning and lightning. So the whole landscape has been managed with fire. We live off the land. We have always lived off the land. We have great time depth here along the Klamath River, and this is Indian Creek right here. And so the fire helps us to keep the forbs in just check the successional stage of the forest. Basically keep it in the forb state, in the oak woodland grassland states. An old growth Douglas fir forest does not offer us native people anything, nor does it offer the deer, the bear, the animals anything. That's your climax forest. And we don't want that. We just check the successional stage from the canyon up to the mid slope, up to the upper slopes. We're actually going to return to a hardwood forest because the conifer that's been planted after you logged is getting burnt. And when that opens up, those conifer stems die. But the regeneration of the oaks, all of the madrone trees, the chinkapin trees, the hardwoods, they're starting their second crop. They're getting sprouts. And when I gather my plants, I go to burned area. We like to have our basket material burned because the new sprouts that come back up, especially of the hazel, have less outer bark, and the cellular structure of the hazel stick changes so that we can twist them and weave with them and make our baby baskets. So I don't go into areas that haven't been burnt, for like 10 years. I don't gather my stuff there. The plants are unhealthy. I like to go to the area where we have fire run through there. The plants are nice and strong and healthy. When I worked for the Forest Service, we would do NEPA for cultural burns, and that would be like bear grass on a 21-mile point up the Go Road. I've been involved in areas that we conducted prescribed burns in for hazel. Fire is a tool that we can utilize to manipulate the vegetation to provide the resources. We've done it for thousands of years. We haven't forgotten that knowledge. Our people, when the foresters first came in, the Karuk people told them, you need to burn. You need to burn. And now, 150 years after contact, we've not burnt the forest, and we're finding out we need to burn. And if you manage for the people, you manage for the animals. If you manage for the animals, you're managing for the native people.